Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the men's room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the men's room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the men's room.
And away we go. Welcome to show number 2720. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, Woman Fox, and Mike Hawk. Montgomery! And you are in the men's room. On tap today, the random question is back. Your guess is as good as mine. Categories, hipsters and football. Sure. The return of Ask the Men's Room. Get ready to play Profile This. Plus headlines, Men's Room Shout of the Day, fundable listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Click, clack. Drinkity drunk.
All right, here we go to Oregon, where a man is busted stealing women's coats from a college so he can take them home and have sex with them. New York cabbies make a pin-up calendar if you're really all alone and your only lube is phlegm. Ironically, man blowing into ignition lock gets in crash, taking eyes off the road. A woman's car crashes into a ditch, and of all people, it was Harrison Ford that showed. And Philly man, he puts 2 cheesesteaks from Pat's in his coffin instead of an elusive Super Bowl. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, a 35-year-old man in Iowa, he went on a first date. Who cares? Well, his date was a little different because at some point, he ducked out of the bar so that he could break into his date's car. The good news is his date caught him in the act. He was arrested. Keep in mind, he's 35 years old. He's old enough to know better. Meanwhile, in Dallas, police arrested someone who's not old enough to know better. In this case, it was a 7-year-old kid whose main crime was banging his head against the wall. Long story short, he ended up in handcuffs. And look, I wasn't the best 7-year-old kid, but I never had to interact with the police. I also wasn't a very good 9-year-old kid. And that's why 9-year-old Christian Thomas from Colorado, this kid kind of annoys me, frankly. This kid became the youngest person ever to complete the hiking Triple Crown. What is that? That would be the Appalachian Trail, the Pacific Coast Trail, and, of course, the Continental Divide. That's like 8,000 miles. This dude did it by the age of 9. And I know that's great and all, but really, why can't he just be a normal 9-year-old that likes to draw penises in places that you shouldn't? I don't say that idly. An air crew for the United States Navy recently got in trouble for skywriting a giant penis over a rural town. These are some of the stories we saw that led to many questions we'd like to ask you in the form of the random question. This is how it works. You call us. We will ask you a question at complete random. After you answer said question, we will share with you the story that inspired it.
Be a part of the big show, the random question. Call 844-999-OLA. You can like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Men's Room Live. And send those emails to the Men's Room at mensroomlive.com. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Hold the shows, and away we go. Welcome to show number 2720. What a big show we have for you today. As your guess is as good as mine. The categories are going to be hipsters and football. We are going to talk about some of the biggest football cities in the United States.
All right.
Now, keep in mind, that's just not NFL. That also incorporates college. So a lot of these towns, depending on how heavy they are one way or the other weighted, college or pro, end up showing up of the top 10 football cities in the United States. The other category would be hipsters. As we look to the towns in the United States that have more hipsters than any other towns, there are 10. We will bring them to you coming up with your guess is as good as mine. And also the return of Ask the Men's Room before we drink and toast with the shot of the day. And today is the day we do our random question. 844-999-HOLA.
Hello, Casey. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Random.
Hola.
Random.
How you doing today, Casey?
Oh, not too bad. Just another day.
All right. Works for me,
Another day. Yeah, all right. Okay, Casey. Let's see what we got here for you. What would you say is the most ridiculous food item that you have ever ordered?
Most ridiculous food item I've ever ordered.
This could be based on a lot of different things. You could have catered a party, and you could have went and bought, I don't know, like 500 pizzas from a Pizza Hut or something like that. You could have ordered something that's just crazy, like Ted was down at the Texas State Fair this year.
Yeah.
They have all kinds of crazy foods there. Maybe you just got a deep-fried fill-in-the-blank.
Maybe you ate vegetables.
Maybe you ate
Bacon
escargot.
queso cheeseburger on a funnel cake.
Right.
Damn, man. Did you get that?
Yeah.
How good was it?
Awesome.
What was it again?
It's a deep fried hamburger with bacon and queso, and the bun was a funnel cake.
Oh, man, that sounds
I
awesome.
mean, we split it between three of us.
Did it have powdered sugar on top?
Yes. Miles, it's exactly what you think it is.
Ooh. All right. So what would you say is the most ridiculous food item you've ever ordered or at least tried?
Probably fried butter. We were at the fair, and it was all fried, and I figured, well, I might as well try it. And it was the most disgusting thing I've ever had.
Really, it wasn't good.
Was it a whole stick of butter?
No, it was kind of like a cheese stick kind of size, and then they dip it in and pull it out, and it was disgusting.
Okay. All right.
Really, didn't like it at all.
Deep fried butter.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
See, it sounds like something I would try.
You gave it a shot anyway. The reason we said what's the most ridiculous food item you've
try
ever
it.
ordered?
Yeah, it's butter, right? And I like butter. And then you're saying I'm going to deep fry it. And if you deep fry anything, it's better. I would think that would have been a home run, man.
I don't think I can give this title to myself. I've got to give it to my stepdad. When we were growing up, McDonald's would run these promotions, and for a while it was like either a quarter hamburger. It might have been 15.
Quarter pounder?
No, just a regular hamburger.
Oh, it was 25 cents.
It was 25 cents at McDonald's.
right. Sorry.
So my stepdad,
Tracking with both of them.
I thought you were talking percentage. I'm like, a quarter hamburger? What the hell was that?
You know, he knew, like anything else, that we went through a lot of food, but we had a freezer in the garage. Mm-hmm. So he would go to McDonald's on these days, and he would call ahead, and he was like, look, man, I'm coming, and I want 100 hamburgers.
Jesus.
All right, well, okay, 100 hamburgers, do the math.
Yeah, $10, $4, $4.
$25.
40. 25, right.
$25, right? So for $25, he'd come home and he'd have these huge ass bags of hamburgers. And then we'd take them all, we'd put them in individual sandwich bags, and then we'd freeze them. And anytime we wanted a hamburger, we'd pop them in the microwave for
How bad are they at that point?
They're not great, but it's still a McDonald's hamburger. It's not nearly as good as it would be because the bun's all soggy. And back in the day, like, the microwave would like make one part of the bun real hard,
yeah, and all the rest,
the other part real drippy, and I mean, it was what it was, but it was still.
But I feel like with McDonald's, based on the fries that you can find in your car, you could bite into it. It's still kind of the same. Like,
it's not far off. Exactly.
I don't even think you need to freeze them. Like, just put them in the pantry.
They would probably be fine in the refrigerator.
Right, that's what I mean. Like, somehow, I think they would survive.
But there was a McDonald's, when I was a bartender, there was a McDonald's by the bar I worked at, and same thing. It was like 39 cents hamburgers after midnight. I mean, I would go over there and just get like 4 of them, just as like, well, they're so cheap. I probably should eat 4 or 5 of these.
Yep, exactly. But I remember, man, he'd have to call ahead, and they'd be like, what are you doing with all these hamburgers? And taking them home.
What do you think he's doing with all those hamburgers, for Christ's sake?
Something sick. He's making a hamburger bed out of them.
That's exactly it.
Random.
Hello, Chris. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hello, Chris. Let's throw him on hold.
Talk to us.
Hello, Brandon. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitch, hola.
Hola. Okay. Oh, boy, do we have one here for you.
Oh, geez.
Okay. What happened while you were taking a dump? That's your random question. What happened while you were taking a dump?
I'd say the worst one was when I was in a hotel and the fire alarm went off.
Okay.
How much longer did you need after the fire alarm started to complete your mission?
You get that debate whether it's actually going off or not. I've heard you guys talk about it before. Like, you're just like, well, it's kind of a long way down. I'm in the middle of something here. Is it an actual fire? And then pretty much when people started, like, running down the hallway and, like, they're banging on all the doors as they're running down the hallway, I'm just like, yeah, I think I better wipe up and get out of here.
Okay.
That sucks.
I would have kind of opened up the door. I don't do the right thing. I kind of see if I can smell any smoke. I look, you know what I mean? Is anyone else peeping out the door? Should I give this a few more minutes?
No, I would absolutely.
Should I get dressed and run for my life?
I don't. And even if the bill, and listen, this is a story that firefighters told Ted and I years and years and years and years ago. As far as I'm not saying it's safe to poop in a burning building, but it's these two firefighters. They said this is a very bad fire. Like it's not just smoke, man. There are flames everywhere. I believe they went up to the second floor, and the floor is burning out from beneath them. Right, so it's collapsing down to the first floor, and they have a buddy system. And these two guys are very, very close, just as human beings. The one guy's screaming through the flames. He can't find his friend anywhere. Cannot find his friend anywhere. He thinks the worst has happened. He's searching around. He knows he has to be somewhat close, but the flames could have taken him. It's like finally I get to this room and realize there's my buddy popping a squat on the family toilet.
Oh, man.
He had to poop so bad.
That's a lot of stuff you have to take off, too.
Of a massive firefight, man. Listen, it's real, but he's sitting on the floor is collapsing beneath him, but he still had presence of mind to sit on the toilet, poop. I don't know if he flushed, but I thought that is amazing. So look, should you be pooping and a fire alarm goes off, based on that story alone, I'll say, hey, man, finish your mission.
I think the biggest production I've ever had around pooping is probably playing football. And, I had to poop, at the beginning of practice, but you had to take off, pants, a girdle, jockstrap. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
I think the worst experience that ever happened to me happened about 2 to 3 weeks or 4 weeks after my hemorrhoid surgery.
Oh, yeah.
This was...
That'd be a game changer, man, because your whole butthole's different.
Well, it was already bad.
You're playing with, a new player.
Here's what happened, though. I was playing an away game, okay? And I don't know what... Look, and I paid way too much attention to this, but in the world of toilets, there is a shorter toilet seat, and there is one that's a little bit longer.
Yeah.
If you go to get a new toilet seat or whatever, there's two different sizes. And the one
what do you prefer?
I like the longer one myself.
Really? I prefer the shorter.
The longer ones tend to have an open front, so they're more of an actual horseshoe, where the shorter ones are a full ring.
That's what I like.
Okay.
Just give me the target.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I'm with Miles. I like the open end. Sometimes I feel like I got to tuck the little fella in the round one.
Okay.
Mr. Big Stuff.
All right.
You got to tuck him in there, man.
No, so here's what happens.
Because I got a big butt.
Because I'm the way I'm positioned.
Yeah, more about butt than penis.
The way that I'm positioned, my front is pretty well pushed up against underneath the seat.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's a shorter toilet. Now, I'm playing an away game, and I realize that kind of the way the toilet paper roll is positioned, it is behind me and to my left. I'm already struggling. I'm already on one side for the most part.
Are you in tears?
Because I'm having a very difficult time. What happens is when I go to turn to reach for the toilet paper, the entire seat, which is not really bolted that well on, shifts. And it slides off and basically smashes my Jimmy and boys in between the bowl and the seat. Because it just goes thump.
Right.
And the whole thing's off for a minute. I'm like, oh, God! And I screamed in the bathroom, but I was at someone else's house.
It's all good.
And it was, it was a blood-curdling scream. It was the second time I almost screamed twice, but I couldn't get anything out.
Right.
So the first scream, just natural sound came out that I've never heard before from my mouth. You know what I mean? It was like a little lion cub finding out it could roar.
It's a high pitch.
It was, and the second one was just, I couldn't even, I was like, oh my God. And that's the last time that, I cannot think, and it was full kit and caboodle. It was the whole package. So,
but you can't find one of the longer toilets in a normal home.
Either way.
You can if someone's replaced them. Toilets are actually fairly cheap. I only say that. I've been looking into it. I need to replace my goddamn toilets. But that said, most of the ones I see now seem to be those longer ones. And I don't know what it is. Maybe because I have long legs, man. I just like the shorter. Give me the shorter one, man.
You got to get the bidet.
Speaking of firefighters.
I need to try a bidet.
And our question, what happened while you were taking a dump? This all comes full circle. Early Thursday morning, at an Olympia, Washington parking lot, a man perched above a ravine began to defecate. Unfortunately, he slipped midway through, and he found himself in an uncontrolled descent with his pants around his ankles. Olympia Fire Department firefighters ultimately hoisted the injured man out on a backboard. The individual was relieving himself and slipped and fell down a 20-foot rock wall. Images released by the fire department show a half dozen firefighters tending to the fallen man. They had to climb down by a ladder. Then the firefighters strapped the man into one of those things. They call it a litter. A ladder truck was then used to lift the man back to the parking lot, all because this man went to take a dump.
Poop outside,
on the side of a cliff. He sustained an injury to his hip. The injury was not believed to be life-threatening. It's unclear what the man was why he was there. It was near a couple.
I read this story.
It was near a couple strip malls and some apartment buildings. He was just trying to take care of business there.
I can tell you exactly why I say he had to poop. He had no place to go. Why did they say we don't know why he was there? The dude pooped off of a cliff outdoors in public, which tells me he really had to go, because you don't do that unless you really have to go behind a strip mall. And look, I've done roughly the same thing, but it's because I really had to go. Otherwise, the last thing I want to do is poop outside behind a strip mall.
And Ted, you're the only person. You're the only person I know who's fallen like that far through the air.
But you weren't pooping.
But you didn't have your pants around your ankles.
No, thank
with
God.
Your ass hanging out, taking a poop, and then they find you. You know what I mean? Like, and you've got like all these firemen coming down this ladder and stuff, and there you're laying down like on the rocks below with crap all over your butt, man.
I'd have fired up the hose. Like, hey,
what are you supposed to do when you're down there now? And how do you yell for help? How does anyone find
who called?
Like, that's the one thing they don't say. Does he just sit there and scream for help for hours on end?
You just gotta yell.
Okay.
I pooped and I can't get up, man.
Yeah.
I just want to poop.
Tremendous.
You tell those firemen thank you, and you never look them in the face again.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Hello, Chris. Welcome to the men's room.
What's up?
Hola.
Oh, how are you, Chris?
Doing good. Driving the back roads in Whatcom County to go fix somebody's oven.
To go fix somebody's oven. Is this residential or commercial?
Commercial. It's at Suck It Up Bay Foods, and they make really great cheesecake. I'm going to make a plug for them, but really great cheesecake.
Okay. All right, let's go with this question here. Here's your random question.
I love how vague people are. It's like an evil genius. Look, I'm not going to give this location a plug, but there's a clue. Follow me if you will. They make fantastic cheesecakes.
But you'll never have any.
How many people will be there? I'll simply tell you 2 + 2. You figure it out.
Smoke bomb.
Right.
Let's go with this one. What did you lose or leave someplace and never get back?
He's gone.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone.
Jesus Christ, he's gone.
He disappeared.
You couldn't even get to the point of the question. Jeez,
I just don't understand why you would add that. Let's just say
they make cheesecake.
Like, is it in their damn name?
Random.
Sounds like this factory that produces cheesecake.
Oh, my God.
I'll just say it's a place you could get chicken wings if you wanted.
Good day.
From upstate New York.
Should have been a bison. Hello, Benji. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bichola.
Hola.
How are you, Benji?
The wild wings of bison.
All right, let's use this question for you. Benji, what did you lose or leave someplace and never get back?
I actually just lost quite recently. I got a nice expensive little sweater as a graduation present from my parents last year. Just graduated from high school. And I was hanging out with my girlfriend a couple of nights ago, and she has a sweatshirt, and she lost it. She doesn't have it anymore.
She lost your sweater?
She lost my sweater, my $150 sweater.
It may have gotten semen stains from her other boyfriend.
Did she have a roommate?
That's true. My
kid.
bad.
So wait, I've never look, man. I remember graduating high school, and my parents' gift to me was not murdering me. But beyond that, this sweater. What does this sweater look like? You seem awfully excited about the sweater. I can't fathom why this sweater seems so awesome.
Well, because this sweater, it's my Letterman's jacket.
Okay. All right. Okay. There you go.
It's a little bit.
That says a lot.
Things, you know.
Yeah.
How did she lose your Letterman sweater?
Well, so we were hanging out one night, just hanging out, and she forgot her sweater at home because she came over around 4. And then she asked to borrow that, so I said, all right, yeah, you can borrow it, just, bring it back. And then she says the next day that she doesn't know where she put it.
Okay.
How long have you been dating her?
It's only been about a month, so it's...
All right, I'm a little worried about it.
But listen, man, where could she have possibly lost it? If she left your house and then went home, either she lost it on the way home, which makes no damn sense, or it's in her freaking house somewhere, right?
Exactly. I've been over there, and I have no idea where it is.
Did you have any roommates?
No, she doesn't have any roommate. She still lives with her parents.
And let me ask you, you got a Letterman's sweater. What did you letter in?
I lettered in football all 4 years, and then track and wrestling.
Wow.
Nice.
You lazy son of a bitch.
Damn, man, you were a three-sport guy. How bad were your grades because of that?
Actually, my grades were fairly decent. I graduated with about a 3.2 GPA.
That's really good for all that activity, man.
That annoys me.
Yeah,
I mean, I know that's great, man, and congratulations and all that, but it pisses me off.
What were you? What sport were you best at?
My grades were bad, and I didn't even have an excuse for it.
Yeah. What was your best sport?
My best sport was football for sure.
Okay, what position? Yeah.
I was a quarterback.
Okay.
What'd you do in track and field?
I wasn't the big brute strength guy. I was the guy who was behind the scenes thinking about things.
Okay.
I played quarterback. I never did that. Wow. What the hell are you talking about? You make it sound like a glamorous position. What did you lose and never get back? The reason we asked, a couple of houses were broken into in the Phoenix area late last month, and as the cops were investigating, they found the burglar had left his resume behind at one of the homes with his name on it, address, info, telephone number. Good news is when they tried to call it, the phone there, his phone number on the resume, that rang at the other house that he had robbed and left his phone behind there.
Oh, God.
That made it very easy for the cops to track down 39-year-old Aaron Sullivan, who was truly looking for a job. He did deny breaking into the homes, but when the cops searched his place, they found pretty much all the stuff that had been stolen, including a bunch of watches that he had hidden inside of cereal boxes. He was charged with burglary and theft. But yes, he tried to break into 2 homes, and he did successfully. He left his resume behind in one. He left his phone behind in the other.
You know what I would have done, honestly, if I'm the cop? First I would have done is call his references. Right? So I call you pick up, hey, man, Andre Eddy here. And you go, yeah, I know Andre. Well, I got his resume here. And you say, look, he's a wonderful guy. I would tell him, just stop. I'm going to tell you why. We're about to arrest his ass. He left his resume. Don't be a reference for him. I'm doing you a favor. Right?
I call from Morton County Jail.
Right.
Is this reference? Random question, 844-999. Hola, more of your calls on the way. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Hola, bitches. You're listening to the Men's Room.
What up? Your guess is as good as mine. Categories, hipsters, and football. We'll do your guess as good as mine right after the emails there from the Men's Room at mensroomlive.com. We have a few comments rolling in.
This in regards to the question. The guy who he pooped outside, hanging his ass over a 20-foot drop, ended up falling down, had to be rescued by fire. And we're like, look, man, they said, we don't know why he was there. Well, we do, because he really had to go. So a comment comes in. It says, one time when I was really sick and I had to poop, but both bathrooms in the apartment that I lived were occupied. I had to go outside on the side of the building. And I almost got caught by my neighbors. It was projectile and loud and very smelly. And I realized my neighbor started coughing from the smell. Because I was doing this right next to his open window, he started coming towards the window. I had to run around the building without being able to complete my mission. I only had a handful of toilet paper. I had to run inside my apartment as he was coming outside to see who was essing on the side of the building.
Yeah, I had I had an experience with an associate, and we were walking home, and needless to say, this guy does not get around much. So this half hour, it ended up being a half an hour because we had to keep stopping, yes. But this, literally, half-mile walk, all right? We had to stop because he really thought that he needed to calm himself down because he thought he was going to poop himself.
All right.
Okay? But it really wasn't that far, but he kept complaining that it was the walking that was stewing him up inside, you see. So, but here was the bottom line. The bottom line was we were so close to being at home, if you would have pissed off any cab driver, any Uber driver,
sure.
Yeah, you're taking us 4 blocks. So basically, this is not going to go down. So we start walking, and then we have to stop constantly, and I'm like, dude, you can make it, man. You can make it. So there's this big, beautiful home. I mean, one of those homes where you go inside, and I'm sure they have it divided in an apartment in the bottom, and at least they could, and one in the top or whatever. But, I mean, God, it must have 7 bedrooms in it. It's just one of those big, old Victorian-looking homes that just looks massive, right? So he's like, I can't do it. And we are literally 50 yards away from my house. This is my neighbor. He plants his back now keep in mind it's dark. He plants his back up against the house. And I just hear, an explosion from his ass. Now, I can't really see, but the best of my knowledge is he basically just stood up, pulled up his pants, and just kept on walking, right? All right. Okay, now, The next day, I got to walk the dog. So curiosity's got the best of me. I've got to see what the hell's going on down there. So I walk down there. Keep in mind, again, Victorian pastels on this house.
Right.
So basically, like, the bottom of the house was like a real light pink or something like that. You know what I mean? Then it had like a purple layer. And then, but he was, where he was backed up was the real light pink area, man. And it looked like somebody just took a handful of wet mud, man. And just threw it in that, like a clump of it in that one spot. And then it splattered like, you know, like if you were to drop paint and make like splatter art.
Right.
It looked like, look. I mean, it was just, and I looked at it, man, and there were flies buzzing all around it. And I mean, you could just smell it. You could, I mean, like, that's the one thing about human waste. That water does amazing things
yes,
for
it
human,
does.
as far as just disseminating the smell a little bit down or whatever.
How early is it? Has anybody from the house noticed?
This is like 9 o'clock in the morning. But I'm still doing the.
I wonder if your neighbor listens to the show because they're having an epiphany right now. Like, I own a pink Victorian, and someone ass splattered on my house.
You know, but my
in the
thing
middle
was,
of the, and there were flies buzzing around the pile of ass on the side of my house.
But you know me, knowing what I know, right? So I'm walking by, and I'm getting nervous. Like, he knows there's somebody I know pooped on his house. Just trying to see if I could see it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still guilty walking by. I didn't do anything.
It don't matter. You're with the guy that did.
You walked the pooper there.
I didn't walk him there. That's where he chose to do his thing.
You were walking with him. You walked the pooper there.
You're an accessory. Then you still went by the scene of the crime. Like the number one thing. Like, man, just don't go back. But you couldn't help it.
You know who goes back to the scene of the crime?
Who's that?
People that are guilty.
Yeah, the guilty people do.
Criminals.
Okay, look. If I were to drop my back on the back of a wall, right? Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure it still would have gone down. This came out like at a 45-degree angle. Like he had bent over, man, and it was just like it was a horizontal.
What do you like? Put his palms on the ground?
Pretty much. I mean, like he was like just leaning over with his ass up in the air, and just it wasn't a down.
Was he pooping or twerking?
I'm not sure what he was doing.
He put his palms on the ground and just shot it back
right on the wall.
God damn!
I mean, damn! He was like in a 4-point. It's like a 4-point stance.
I've pooped outside, but I've never thrown my.
That was another thing I thought. I could see him.
My poop leverage.
I'm like, dude,
to shoot backwards.
Dude he poops like a bear.
I mean, my God, man.
He had to go.
Oh, he did. Yeah, it was amazing.
Wow.
How long did a poop stay and last in the house?
Well, here was the thing. How do I best describe this? It took me about 4 or 5 days to tell my wife, because this guy, my buddy, was staying at my house. So I didn't want to, like, let her in on it. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want her to be thoroughly disgusted.
Yeah.
Because he was already annoying the living hell out of her. So at that point in time, I was just trying to.
Oh, he's already the annoying guy.
He's incredible.
And he's pooping on houses.
And he's also one of these guys who's like, you know, like you ask him to buy a ticket and like to come out and see him, man. Like, yeah, you know, well, I'm not, I've got Friday off, man. So if you come out for the weekend, we can spend Friday, Saturday, and Sunday together. And he's the guy calling you like, yeah, man, I just got a ticket for that previous Monday, man. I'll just do whatever I want, stay at your house on Monday until you get off on Friday.
You know what they always say? I could keep myself busy.
Yeah, I could do stuff, man.
Yeah, but you're doing it at my house.
What'd you do, man?
Right.
Oh, I just sat around, watched TV all day, you know, just kind of relax a little bit.
Ate your food, drank your beer.
Didn't do anything. Didn't shower for 3 days.
Hello, Matthew. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola. Matthew, how are you? Welcome to the Random Question.
Hang on the line for us.
Yeah, we got to put you on hold for a minute for a little station identification.
That's called effing with you.
That's it. Still to come, your guess is as good as mine in categories hipster and football and the return to Vast Men's Room. That's all coming up.
Hola! The shenanigans continue on the Men's Room Radio Network.
Category